Alright, so is survival more important than maintaining one's humanity? In my opinion, yes.
I'd say yeah.
I'd say yes.
Okay.
So in the road, we have two sets of people here. We have the man and the boy, and then we have cannibals who kill people and eat them.
Good guys versus bad guys, quote unquote, from the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to these cannibals, obviously survival is more important because they're just doing this to survive. They're killing anyone they really want to. And as we can see during the basement scene, they just have a bunch of people trapped in their basement that they cook and eat.
Yeah. So, would you say that if someone, what would you say would count as losing one's humanity? Is it moral to eat someone who's already dead opposed to killing someone and eating them? Or does morality come from killing someone? So if you kill someone, you no longer have your humanity, quote unquote. But yeah.
I think if you're killing someone just to kill them, you would probably be losing your humanity. But if they're attacking you or something of the sort where they want to kill you and you kill them, there's a fine line there.
What if they are going for more of a protecting themselves type of thing? Like, they see you as a threat, like the man at the end who stole their stuff. Would you count him, the father, taking the clothes and everything the old man had and telling him to get out, would you count that as maintaining or taking away his humanity?
I think it would be losing humanity, and I think in that case, to even the man and the boy in that specific situation, their survival was deemed more important than even that other man's survival, even though they lost their humanity there. They didn't have to, essentially, take away all of his clothes to stay alive. They could have just taken back what was theirs, but they decided that they wanted to get revenge on him.
I didn't think he did it out of protection. I thought he did it out of anger. Because even though they took their stuff, or even though the man took their stuff, I didn't think the man had the right to take everything the man had because he was just trying to survive.
Well, think of it this way. If you are at home or let's say you're at school, okay, and you go home, all of your stuff is gone, would you go for that person for just what you had, or would you follow the more mainstream route and try to get as much out of it as you can? Because especially in a life and death situation, you want to get as far as you can, as quick as you can. So by him, the man taking the family's stuff, I don't know why I call them family, but by him taking their stuff, wouldn't you, if he took your stuff, wouldn't you want to take his stuff too, just for him to know how it feels?
Yeah, and even in regular life, if something happens to you where you get injured in some situation that wasn't your fault, you're going to sometimes sue whoever owned the company or the product that injured you for probably more than it would cost to repay your hospital bills. So I think in general, people just value their survival more than...
Not even their survival, but their, I guess...
well-being?
Yeah, their well-being over the well-being of others, even in a non-dystopian society.
Yeah, and so I think that even, especially in the road, the man does a lot of things just because he wants to almost protect his son. He says a couple times that, on page 77, his job was, it says, "My job is to take care of you. I was appointed to do that by God. I will kill anyone who touches you." So the man literally says that he values the boy's survival more than he does necessarily maintaining his humanity by not killing anyone, even if he didn't do anything.
Well, that brings up a good point. Would you count it as losing his humanity if he kills someone for the life of another? A life for a life.
Yeah, I think it's just moral.
He's not killing the people to eat them or get at them. He's killing them for protection.
Okay, so in the part of the book when the cannibal, even though we knew he was a cannibal, they at the time didn't know he's a cannibal. When he tries to steal their stuff and the man blows his brains out after he threatens to kill the boy, would you count that as moral?
He was protecting the boy.
So yes.
Yeah.
So then he keeps his humanity there. But then what if that person wasn't necessarily a cannibal? I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to argue that because he did try to attack the boy.
Okay, well, let me ask you guys something really quick. What do you think the difference between killing and murdering is? Because in that case, I would say that was more killing than murdering, because he had a purpose, opposed to the cannibals who murder for their own well-being. Would you say that killing is moral, murdering robs someone of their humanity? Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think murder is the specific intention of killing someone for fun or for your own benefit, versus killing can be more considered in your self-defense kind of situation.
Okay, well then I guess from now on we should reference to things as murdering for the purpose of conversation.
Yeah.
I suppose. I think it's interesting to consider survival being more important than humanity in a popular piece of like literature and culture that went through a while ago, the Hunger Games, where kids are basically forced to murder each other in an arena in order to survive.
Okay, but you say they're forced to murder each other, but in one of the movies, we specifically see them not murdering each other and revolting and them winning, so why is that not a common theme?
Exactly, like, it shows that some people, obviously, in the situation of being stuck in that arena, they want to murder each other, because they don't have to kill anyone. Everyone could just die there.
Or
right?
everyone could live.
Yeah, or everyone could live, but probably the government would just kill everyone eventually, murder everyone.
But wouldn't that cause revolt, which would cause the corruption of government, the fall of government?
Exactly, so in a situation like that, people value their survival more than their humanity. They want to murder each other.
Okay. So, more modernly, let's talk about the donor party. Donor, I don't really care how it's pronounced. So, would you guys say that because they murdered each other to eat each other, would you count that as killing or murdering, or more humanitarian or non, because it was a life or death situation?
I think like murdering, because they knew they were going to kill them, like out of being selfish because they were starving. But if someone like died and they didn't have anything left to do, I think it's more civil to eat someone if you're starving. Like, you didn't kill them on purpose.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. If you were in their situation, you were stuck in the Sierra Nevada mountains and a giant snowstorm broke out, even though you thought you could make it through without the snow, and you couldn't make it, you were with two grown adults and, I don't know, like a kid or something, would you say that it's humanitarian to kill one for the benefit of 4 others or 3 others?
I still don't agree with that.
Alright.
Yeah, I think it's just losing humanity in general if you're killing someone to eat them, because eventually someone is probably going to die from starvation themselves. And then in that situation where they die and you didn't like murder them yourself, you can almost justify eating their dead body per se.
Well, but think of it this way. I mean, if you know at least one person's gonna die, why couldn't you kill, or I guess murder in that case, murder one who is the weakest before they lose so much. I'm not even gonna say meat, but before they lose so much of their body mass, because the more they lose, the less there is to savage.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that you could say.
So is it better to kill one for the benefit of multiple, or have everyone die? I guess is the main question.
Yeah, I think that'd be probably. I mean, you're taking charge in that situation, and you're kind of becoming like the judge and juror of the situation, where you're saying that you're in charge and this person has to die. And
But what if it's a consensus? What if everyone decides
if everyone
that it's
agrees,
this person?
I mean,
Except that person, obviously.
I think having like 3 people survive and 1 die, sure, those 3 people might lose their humanity, but when you look at collateral damage, people make those choices all the time, and they could be losing their humanity. If you call in a bomb strike that kills 10 people but saves 10,000, sure, you could lose your humanity, but you're saving all those other people.
Okay,
Survival.
well, let me ask you this.
Reinforces the point of survival being more important, yeah?
So, what if that bomb strike you're talking about kills 10,000, except these people were 10,000 cannibals in our say of the book, to save 10 people who have never eaten or killed a person in their life, which is more valuable?
I think that's probably up to whoever's calling in the bomb strike.
Is it worth 10,000 quote-unquote bad lives for 10 pure ones?
It's up to moral standards, basically. That own person's moral standards on what counts on people having humanity or not.
But if you're civil and like you want to kill or murder someone for the benefit of yourself, if this case hadn't happened, you wouldn't be thinking, you're starving, I want to kill this person and eat them. That would be the last resort. Like,
But this is the last resort, but you have to think ahead, because if this person dies, by the time they're dead, if they die by starvation, their whole body is mostly skin and bone. There's nothing left to savage. But if you kill them 10 days before they die, you extend the lives of those other people by an extra 10 days, let's say, but you cut that one person's life short 10 days.
Yeah, and in the road, obviously the cannibals could wait until people die and eat the dead bodies,
Exactly.
but a lot of the time, the dead bodies are charred, destroyed.
Charred, and there's nothing left on them.
They're usually
because-
burnt.
Yeah.
So they just decide that, we want to live, and we can live more than these other people if we just kill them.
Alright, let's move on to one more topic of conversation, because this is only going to record for another 6 minutes, 30 seconds. So, if societal norms change so drastically because of the situation that they're in, is killing more moral than murdering, I guess? So, like, let's say tomorrow this apocalypse happens. Okay, so people start dying, food starts becoming more scarce, water is coated in ash, there's fire everywhere, everything's dead. I guess we're gonna go back to the original question. Is it more important to survive, or is it more important to maintain your humanity? Because the situation decides, I guess, is a way to put it.
Mm-hmm. I think in a world like the road, I mean,
I don't think there's really such thing as moral and not moral at that point.
yeah, I don't think anybody really has their humanity anymore, because there's so little of it left.
There's nothing to base it off of, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess a main point of the whole conversation is, what is humanity if there's nobody surviving?
Yeah, because humanity or life is a prerequisite to humanity. So I don't know. I guess we should wrap this up. So after this whole conversation, I'm going to stick with the consensus that survival is way more important than maintaining your humanity, just solely because life is a prerequisite to humanity. Without life, there is no humanity.
Yep, I agree completely.
I still don't agree with that.
Okay, explain why.
I mean, because if everyone knows they're gonna die, there's no difference between eating a human and then living a longer lifespan, or waiting to kill the human, or just eating because it.
But there is a difference because.
But how? I mean.
What if you know that in exactly 25 years, life's going to return to the planet and everything's going to return back to normal? So, if you are one of those people that survive into that, then you're happy. But
you have to
kill people to get there.
You have to make decisions to get there. So would you rather kill people and live on to this quote-unquote new world?
But how would you live with yourself if you knew you killed innocent
That's
people?
the morality. Could you live with yourself and survive? Okay, so you think that it is more important to maintain humanity than it is to live. Okay.
Because in your new life, you're going to think about all the innocent people that could have lived that you killed to eat.
Or you can decide that you could have lived, and it's a should have, could have, would have situation. So, I think we have come to our final conclusion.
Okay.
Best 2 out of 3 decides that survival is more important. Sorry, Haley. But, yeah.
I guess, whatever, I'm done.
Okay, good conversation. See ya.